Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, a podcast where we open up conversations about what it really means to build a creative career when you're Black or brown. I'm your host, brand and marketing graphic designer, Angela Lyons. In my guest episodes, I sit down with creatives who are out there doing the work, navigating the industries, and proving that there's space for all of us. Because the more we share, the more we see our stories out there, and the more we see ourselves reflected, and the more we realise we're not alone in this. Okay then, are you ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to Creatives Like Us, Christina. Can you tell people who you are and where you are in the world, and also what type of creative you are?
Hello, Angela. Thank you very much for inviting me. I've heard wonderful things on your podcast. So it's a pleasure to now be on your podcast. My name's Christina. I'm the founder and managing director of Direct Media. In the past, we've made productions like Retold, which was starring James McAvoy, Constantly Evolving, with rapper Eve, Snorlax, with Oscar-winning director Steve McQueen, Talent Takes Practice with Robbie Savage and Matthew Said. So we've had an extensive list of, high-profile podcasts. And we've made those for platforms like the BBC and Luminary and Curio. So what I do at the moment, and we continue to do those podcasts, just to be clear, but what I also do is I help organizations create content that's aligned with their audience. So we work very heavily on audience discovery. We found that there was a need for podcast creators to have help with getting their podcasts discovered by audiences. So we've also implemented some consulting and training for that as well.
So you mentioned that you have different audiences. Do those podcasters, they actually want to have, is it communities as such? Is that what they're looking for? Or is it like, I suppose they want more individuals listed podcasts, but I heard the buzzword. There's lots of buzzwords at the moment. There's more so around community. Is that what they're looking for at the moment?
Some of them are, and community works really, really well with people who have like mission-led podcasts. But some organizations that are kind of, quite frankly, more commercial, they are looking for podcasts or audiences that are in different places, hard to reach sometimes. On occasion, it's a completely separate audience from what they might find from TV advertising or digital advertising or even in person. So they are looking to grow their audience, and very, very often that is with a commercial perspective in mind. You know, these businesses kind of, they're all about the money, but
it's all about the bottom line, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So, but there are mission-led podcasts and where community works really, really well.
How did you start? How did you get into that?
Yeah. So I had known since I was a teenager that I always wanted to work within, let's say, media. I was drawn towards like factual programming.
What, even on TV, like TV shows and things like that?
Yeah, I think that's initially what I was drawn to. Mm-hmm. And to the point where because I did athletics as a teenager, but I knew so much that this is what I wanted to do. I kind of athletics then went to the sidelines, and I just participated in sport as a hobby. But as I I went to university and I tried a few more things, and I did, you do odd jobs when you're in university. We did some music videos, you do a couple of documentaries, you do, you try and
do a little bit of everything,
sharpen your tools. Yeah, exactly. And then eventually I ended up on a producer program, an entry-level one at the BBC. And I kind of experimented with TV, didn't really feel like I fit in there. And then one day I was in the digital department of BBC Radio. And I saw my boss then on a skateboard and I was like, yeah, that's me. This is my home. This is where
my people.
Yeah, exactly. And since then, I have very much enjoyed digital content. So it started off on like iPlayer and on the websites, and now it's developed into apps, and now who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. And so was that the BBC? So you was there for a while? Did that lead you to where you are now? I'm sure there's lots of messy middles and things like that in between, or happy times, but there's always the messy middle, isn't there? So how did you get to where you are now?
Sure. It's a combination of like messy bits and also things that I aimed for, and I made my shot and it worked. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, I shot my shot. And I was like, oh, awesome. This worked.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, I feel like applying for jobs when you're within a corporation, especially a corporation within the BBC, requires its own conversation. But that was definitely like a skill that I had to learn and harness. And it took a while for me to get there. I think like a lot of people, I come from a family where your parents have practical jobs, right? And so learning to interview in white collar spaces is quite difficult when you're the first one. But with that being said, I, went on to then work for the BBC World Service, and I became a manager there really quickly, much quicker than I even expected. And then I went to work for Apple Podcasts, the infamous or famous Apple Podcasts.
Oh, famous, yeah, wow.
And that was really rewarding. I had a wonderful team that
How long were you there for?
I was at Apple Podcasts for, I would say, just 3 years.
Mm-hmm. You must have got so much experience from that.
Oh, yeah. And I fit it in a relatively short period of time as well, because I was looking after the European markets, and we were like flying out to like Germany and France and Spain, and then, spending some time in the US as well with the team that out there, because there weren't that many staff in the UK or even in Europe at the time. We flew out to the US all the time to kind of work collaboratively with them. So it was a really exciting time to be at Apple Podcasts. But it did hit a point where I felt like there wasn't much more for me to learn there. And that's when I set up Don't Skip Media.
Oh, wow. So you left a well-paid job to go
I know. That was ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. There was many a moment where I thought I might regret this.
Yeah, no, listen, this is what we're about. It's like, you took your shots.
Exactly.
But it's crazy because, I suppose I'm just thinking about also the landscape of today and how things are going today. And how long ago was that you had, you set up your own business?
So 2019, just before. Yes.
We know. Do you know what? I've had so many people on this podcast. They've just said, I set up my business in the beginning of January 2020 or 2019. But I just look at them going,
you knew what was coming. Now, in retrospect, you know what's coming. You're like, yeah. So that's what I mean by there was a moment where I massively regretted
yes.
my decision.
Oh,
but it all worked out in the end. Yeah, it all worked out in the end.
And you must have left those companies with so many contacts and so many, people that you know and where you could possibly get work from too. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be completely transparent, what did aid and came to my benefit was the fact that I knew to some degree how to pitch to the BBC. So just to be clear, you're never given preferential treatment because there is a process of you have to be set up as an indie, and there's certain provisions and criteria that you have to meet in order to be set up as an indie at the BBC.
What do you mean by indie? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me clarify that for the audience, especially. When you're set up as an indie for the BBC, what that means is you're an independent production company. And I wish there was a visual. I wish I had like a whiteboard. But what that means is that the BBC do not produce everything that they put out on their, I'm going to say platforms, but what I mean is TV, radio, website, iPlayer, the full shebang. They don't produce everything in-house. What they are, in fact, obliged to do is to go to independent production companies throughout the UK. So they're supposed to be in Scotland, Northern Ireland, the Midlands, the North, the whole shebang. They are asked to commission work through those independent production companies. And the idea is that it creates work, fairness, creates opportunities outside of the Southeast. So that's And effectively, you've got quite a fight on your hands sometimes to become and qualify as an indie.
So it's not a given that even though you've worked there before, or you met someone, had some drinks with someone late one night, you're not going to get it.
Exactly. It is not a given at all. Believe me, because I've applied and failed many times. So it is not a given. And there are plenty of former BBC producers who are freelancers for that reason, because it's just so difficult to do. But I was steadfast and I just kept trying until I did achieve it.
Brilliant. Were there many, if you don't mind me asking, when you're saying you're going for that, were there many people of colour going for that at the time?
Mixed for different reasons. Right. So I do know one very prominent indie. It's called We Are Unedited, and it's run by a lovely person named Bernard. He's a black man and he's doing very, very well, right? Produces a lot of programs for the BBC. However, there were mixed experiences, especially outside of the Southeast, where it just became, or it seemed as if it was more of a struggle to kind of make yourself known, give yourself a presence amongst some of the commissioning teams out there. But on the flip side of that, there were also some indies, some independent production companies who didn't want to work with the BBC because of certain things that had happened. And we all know what has happened in the BBC.
Sure,
and they just didn't want to work with them at all. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And so, that's what I mean by it was a mixed bag. Some people didn't want to, and then other people did very well.
Yeah. And are you still working with the BBC now?
I will still work with them, and I'll still work with teams that I've kind of been able to either I've worked with in the past or I've gotten to know over the last, let's say, 7 years. And so it's more about that than working for the BBC. I'm also like to be slightly mission-led in the programming that I make. So if I feel like I'm making a valuable contribution to the audience, then I'll also still work with the BBC in order to get that. Because I think it's a really difficult thing to balance, like your ethics and your morals but the only way that I'm going to be able to deliver this message is on a platform like the BBC. And then also, once you decide that you're going to not work with them, you also have to make the same decision for Amazon Prime. You have to make the same decision for Netflix. Like, where do you start?
Where do you stop? Where does it stop? I mean, it's quite hard, isn't it? I mean, I know that with rules, well, I suppose with my company that I'd have certain people that I won't work with, but that's personal decision, also a business decision, isn't it? But then at the end of the day, you've got to, I suppose, bypass some of them because you still need to make money, don't you? And if they're controlling everything, it's quite hard to say no, isn't it? So,
right. And sometimes I feel like people who I know or acquaintances are a little harsh, like, oh, you still work for the BBC? Like, when I say I don't directly work with them, just to be clear, I'm not employed by them, but I still work with them on a commissioning basis. And like, but is the market, the supermarket you work for completely...
Exactly, and the products inside those supermarkets. All of that.
Unfortunately, this is a system that we work in. We try and change what we can, and we work with what we can't change, and that's the way I see it.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about your business, and I know you said how you started, but I was going to say also the name of it. I love the Don't Skip Media. It kind of works both ways. It's like, I don't know, tell me about it.
And what it was, I named it, well, I didn't want to name it after myself, after poor Joe Malone. So like, and so the name came about there was a piece of research when I was working with Apple Podcasts, and we kind of found out that listeners don't skip over adverts when they're listening to the podcast. And so that's where the name came from.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. I must be the one of the Apple listeners that does. I'm like, oh my God, I stopped listening. Don't judge me, but I stopped listening to the podcast if it's got adverts on it. I'm like, oh my God, they've introduced adverts. And I just, I know I don't pay for that. Maybe I should pay for the premium.
Yeah.
To get rid of the adverts. But sorry. But I do love the name. Sorry, going back to your name. I really do.
I know,
love
but
your
yeah,
name.
absolutely. No, it's absolutely fine. Some people hate them, and I am one that will begrudgingly kind of sit through an advert on YouTube, but most of the time I just want to hit that skip button and just like, let's go.
Actually, if someone wants to sponsor us on our podcast, which we'll come
Please
to yours
do.
in a minute, please do. We'll keep the ads. We'll listen to them and we'll tell everybody else to listen to them because we love ads. I'll take that all back now.
Exactly.
So I was going to ask you, is there anyone in particular that made like a major change in your career, like a catalyst? I always call it the catalyst connection. Was there anyone that sort of like said, do this, and it was like to the trajectory of like your complete change of your career?
There are a couple of moments. One I always return to was there was a teacher at school, and I was born in Birmingham, and I went to my early years were in Birmingham, and there was a teacher as I was kind of applying for my GCSEs who gave me this cutout, and it was an article written by a woman with a very similar name. Her name was Christine Moore, but my name is Christina Moore. And he was like, I think you can do this. You can be this person. And that was really something that I remember as being like real kind of push in the right direction. Like, you're capable of being this journalist, reporter, whatever you want to be. You're capable of doing it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
So that's what I remember.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it when teachers influence them.
I know, that's what they're there to do, right?
Yeah, that's what they're there to do that. We hope so. And yeah, when they do it, it's just so special and really amazing, especially when that sort of like could change like your whole mindset on things, whereas you might just not have seen anyone that nearly got the same name as you too.
I
know. Just going to your podcast, actually, I was going to ask you, because it's called Mindful Marketing. So you've set up your own business and you set up your podcast. Why did you set up the podcast, and has it changed your business personally and business-wise?
Yeah, so I set up Mindful Marketing out of some personal interest, because as I was kind of like got more acquainted with podcast discovery and audience outreach, marketing became more of interest to me. And it also became more of interest to people in the podcast community. But I would say that the primary audience for Mindful Marketing is for CMOs, marketing directors of organizations, and they could be big brands, but they could also be kind of like your foundations, your trusts. But it was for them to be able to listen to content that was designed to help facilitate them in their job, in their work. The question that I ask myself for every episode is, if I was a CMO, what would help me write that strategy? What would help facilitate those plans? So that's the question that I ask for every episode. And it could be audience insight, like recently with Dr. Aisha, to Taylor Kamara. I hope I got that in the right order. But it could also be marketing frameworks. It could be thought leadership. It could be, so it's all of those sorts of things that I want to kind of offer marketers some insights. So yeah, that's who it's marketed towards, or that's who it's positioned towards, I should clarify.
Yeah. Brilliant. And again, I think he's an acronym that some of the listeners might not know. It's just CMO, but I know what it is. But if you wanted to explain, because I think sometimes they might not know of what the actual acronym is. So could you maybe tell us?
So a CMO is a Chief Marketing Officer, and they very, very often struggle within organizations and brands to define their value, because unlike sales, they can't necessarily always tie a number to what they do.
It doesn't equate, doesn't it? Sometimes it doesn't equate. And I think, again, going back to COVID times, it's the most craziest time, because a lot of teams well, I suppose a lot of teams without insight were getting rid of their marketing teams because like, we can't afford this. So they just got rid of the marketing teams. But there was a lot of companies that actually thought we need to double down on our marketing. So it's a bit
And
of...
they ended up being some of the most successful ones.
Exactly. So I know that during that time I was really busy, like just getting bashing out designs. I was like, because people just like, they were just like wanting their, their audience to know they were still there, they were still doing the work, and people still buy because they've got nothing else to do at home.
Yeah. Order.
So yeah,
Absolutely hammered my Amazon, don't worry.
Exactly. But yeah. So I was going to ask also, your podcast, has it changed you personally?
Yes, because I was always behind the mic. Even when I was reporting, I was still behind the mic. I would never be in front or behind the camera. I'd never be in front. I'd never really be in shot either. So in that sense, it's changed me, and I have definitely been on my own learning curve. So while I understand the fundamentals of producing a show, being a presenter is a whole different ballgame. It's something that I'm actually still learning. I'm still learning to be, more natural on camera and in front of the mic and stuff like that. These sorts of conversations aren't so bad, but when you're kind of like, when you're the one delivering.
I think you sound great, and like you're really just chilled and like. But I suppose if you're talking, I don't know, if you're talking to the CMO of, I don't know, who's the? Oh yeah, I was going to say who's the
Direct Line and
the Direct Line. Yeah, who's the Direct Line? Is that your bigger one? Is that your biggest?
Yeah, Mark Evans. Yeah.
How was that? How did you find that?
Oh, infinitely fascinating. Really, really interesting person to meet. And he's going out alone these days. He's kind of become a writer and those sorts of things. But like just the experience and one of the really good stories that he told me was about getting... Have you ever seen a Quentin Tarantino movie called Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he in there is a fixer called Mr. Wolf. And Mr. Wolf, they wanted to use the character in a Direct Line advert. But in order to do that, they kind of like had to get Quentin Tarantino, because he still owned the rights to it, on board. So they're like flying out their staff to go meet Quentin Tarantino and bringing him on board and, kind of licensing those rights and all those sorts of things. Just kind of like, I was like, that's just such an incredible story to tell.
And
glad to
I had to come up with that idea to use them, because I do know the advert, and Hive Cartel was on the TV adverts, isn't he? And it's just like, and he's actually wearing the get up too that he is in the film, because Reservoir Dogs is one of those films of, I suppose, of my young adult life that is just like so iconic. It's just like, it's one of those films that, it's brilliant. It's how did you get that guy on your podcast? Is it just ask? I think that's another thing. I think people are scared to ask, aren't they? Just ask.
Yeah.
What can they say? Yes or no?
I've sent 101 DMs on LinkedIn. I paid for a pro profile on LinkedIn. And so what I do every Monday, I commit myself to reaching out to people that I want to speak to on the podcast. And,
oh, wow. Brilliant.
And then I send those messages out. And I'm just like, and then, sometimes there's a weeks where you get no response, and then there's a week where you get everyone responding.
Everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, when am I going to fit this all in?
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. Oh, that's so cool.
So that's my approach. I just commit to a time and just be like, that's my time.
Yeah. Do you use the podcast as a form of marketing for your own business, or is there other avenues and other routes that you use for marketing for your business?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt the podcast is a means of marketing my own services. I'll be very transparent about that, but perhaps not in the way that people initially assume. They kind of assume in the I guess in the most obvious way that, you do a podcast and you put it on YouTube and hundreds, and if you're lucky, thousands of people will watch it, etc., etc. For me, the more immediate benefit is to get the structure behind the SEO and the AEO to work on my behalf. So every time I create a podcast, I also then do show notes and transcript. I put that on the website. I do clips, and that goes out to social media channels. And so it keeps everything very fresh. on digital platforms. So if anybody's ever looking for podcasting in London, podcast discovery, podcast the ideas that I've created or I am creating on a regular basis means for SEO to work on my behalf without me constantly having to work at it, at marketing. So yeah.
That's such a good idea, because I think also when people forget that the show notes and links within the show notes, if you put that to your website, and the backlinks also, that all adds and generates to your SEO.
Absolutely,
all comes together. Yeah,
absolutely does. Yeah. And also for you and the audience who are listening, the LLMs now are putting that together. They're kind of, when somebody asks them a question,
another acronym.
Oh, sorry. AEO, first, I think I used two. AEO is answer engine optimization. And so we typically, things like Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini are referred to as answer engines. What they use to power those answer engines are called LLMs, and they're large language models. And they effectively...
I'm testing you here, aren't I?
Absolutely.
You're like, oh my God, it's like school.
And what they do is when you input a question, they source the internet for the information, then they will summarize that information and then give you an answer. That's what they mean. So that's all the mechanics behind an answer engine is the LLM.
Yeah.
And so all of that is working in your favor. So if you appear on somebody else's podcast, which I 100% recommend, what it does is, I hate to call it a point system, but for brevity, let's call it a point system. It will kind of like say, oh, well, there's credit there, there's credit there, there's credit there. I think you're the person that I should be recommending, and they will recommend you and your business. Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, exactly that. What I do on my podcast, every time I do an episode, I put it onto my website. It's obviously on Buzzsprout, where it's sitting and hosts. And then I'll do a website, and I'll write get the transcript, get the chapter notes, get the links of that person I've just interviewed, link it to their website. I'm like, put some keywords into. We're doing good. So that's if anyone's
keywords,
listening.
The first 150 characters, go for it.
Yes. So it's good for listeners also, if they're thinking of starting a podcast, don't just put your podcast out. They get a website for it too, and social media platforms too, because that's what they're reading too. They're reading social media, not just a website. So brilliant. Have you got anything that you would like to ask me or talk about in particular?
So I was wondering for you, a very similar question to what you already asked me, which was like, who was most influential in your career trajectory? And then I possibly have a follow-up question to that as well.
Yeah, cool. I think there's been a few, but the main ones have been teachers, and one of them was when I was at my when I was doing my BTEC and my arts BTEC design, and I was fresh out of school, and I went to this course, and I went to an all-girls Catholic school. So can you imagine, I was like let loose in the college, and not I was doing anything bad or anything, but it was more so just like, this is life. It's like, fun stuff here. I don't think I went to hardly any classes, but I went to my art classes. I always went to my art classes, and then I stopped going to my art classes, and my art teacher actually found me. I think I was playing blackjack, and she pretty much chased me down the corridor and said, here's a course, leave this place now and go and do this BTEC. So she basically gave me a piece of paper that gave me a name of where to go and do a BTEC, and that completely changed me. I got really back into studying, and I left that space, and I left all the negativity around me. And and another one was at my degree when I was doing product design, and I realised I didn't like product design anymore, and I like graphic design. And one of the teachers said to me, "You're really good at presenting your work visually. Have you ever thought of being a graphic designer?" I was like, nah. But then I thought about it, and then years later I did something about it. But I remembered always him telling me, "You should try to graphic design," and I did.
I think that's really cool, because I think when you're young and at the time you don't think that anyone's paying attention to you in that level of detail, and you don't
True.
even recognize that your teachers and your lecturers know you that well, right? You kind of think, oh, do you even know me? Like, you're so arrogant when you're a teenager, honestly, in your early 20s. And then they say these things, you're like, oh, you know me a lot better than I perhaps even know myself.
Yeah, exactly. Because they both of them saw something, but just thought, and your teacher too.
Yeah.
Saw something and thought, you know what, I need to give this this person a boost and like tell them they could give it a go. Yeah.
And then my follow-up question was, or is, how have you found mentorship now that your career it's taken off, right? So now that you've kind of got a pipeline of work coming in and inquiries, how have you found mentorship, if you have at all?
What, me mentoring people or them mentoring me?
Or you finding a mentor?
Me finding a mentor. I haven't had a mentor for a few years, and that was about 4 years ago, I'd say. Actually, no, first one was about 4 years ago. And they basically looked at what I was doing because I was feeling a bit like, oh my God, do I need to be on social media? Oh my God, I don't want to be on social media, all of that. And she just like broke it down. And I actually interviewed her for this podcast last year, which was amazing. It's like come full circle. And she's always, and the thing is about her name's Jo Seeley, she'd always recommend me to people. So I just think that when you have a mentor, they don't tell you what to do, but they make you work it out yourself through conversation. And that's what I really loved about Jo too. And also that she had so much experience. She knew so much or knew so many people too. And she'd just like tap into, I suppose, different communities and different people she knew and like applied it back to me. She was, she was really good. And then a couple of years ago, I went on there's lots of schemes out there for mentorship, especially women. And then a couple of years ago, I went on one run by Santander, and that was Women in Business. And they gave you a mentor for 9 months. And that was brilliant. And at the end of it, they basically asked me to get on stage. And that was another thing why I joined the thing, because I was like, I don't like speaking. I don't want to talk to no one. And that just, well, can't shut me up now.
Open doors, quite literally.
Yeah. But I don't mind public speaking, but I prefer to be like on a panel. I don't want to do a presentation. I don't really enjoy the presentation side of it. And I love doing this and like being one-to-one in a podcast or being in a studio doing podcasting, or being on a panel on a stage. But that's another thing where the mentoring really helped me to basically, people said, people want to hear about you and want to see, when you need to help other people. And actually since then, I have helped students, and I'm a mentor for 3 students at Central St Martin's, and London School of Communication. So yeah,
that was my old stomping ground.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So yeah, and so that's super cool. It seems like you've had a really positive experience with mentorship, which is rare. I'm going to be honest. It seems
I was going to say, I was going to ask
rare.
a question back to you. So have you had a bad one, or have you had a mentor? Or
so it's not that I've had a bad experience with a mentor. It's more that I found it difficult to find one, I guess, for a SME. So you could find mentors as a freelancer, you could find mentors as a sole trader, you could find mentorship programs as an employee. What I found really, really difficult is if you were an SME, to find mentorship, particularly within the digital/media space. So
interesting.
if you were setting up I don't know where I'm going with this, but a plumber, if you were going to set up a plumbing company, though you could find.
Yeah, and you'd find a coach too. You'd find a mentor or a coach that will help you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I found it I am finding it really difficult in the SME space. Yeah.
Well, if anyone's listening,
there you go.
And you're looking, you're looking for one, give Christina a shout.
But like you,
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
I tried for that reason. I tried to be active with other people.
Yeah, and networking, because you never know who you'll bump into, and someone might recommend somebody else to you. Yeah, lovely. Tell me a future project or a project that who you'd love to work with in the future, or if there's a future project coming up that it's your time to either manifest or tell me something that's coming up that's exciting for you.
Okay, let's hope I manifest something. So I always in 2 minds whether to tell anyone about something I want, because I sometimes feel like if you tell someone, then it all goes to to shit, sorry, it all goes to pot.
No.
And so I kind of like keep it close to my heart. But what I really want, ideally for this year, is to do an athletics-based podcast. I think I mentioned earlier, I used to do sports as a teenager, as a young person. There are football podcasts, there are cricket podcasts, there are rugby podcasts. There's not really an athletics podcast. And so that's really what I want to evangelize, if you will. I want to try and inspire more young people to get into athletics. I know, there's a lot more money in football, and that's why people go for it. Let's be frank, right?
But not everybody can be a footballer.
No, exactly. There are limited spaces on those teams. So yes, and I really love athletics. I say as a sport, but they're different sports in track and field. And I really think it helped with my focus as a young person, as a teenager. I think that it created a routine. I wasn't out on the streets, even though we're living in an area that might have been to be desired. And of course it kept me healthy, and I kept up sport, unlike a lot of women, into my adult life. I never struggled with going to the gym on a regular basis and all of those sorts of things.
You carried it on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's lots of benefits, and socially, cannot underestimate the social impacts that it's had. Meeting people in real life, meeting with your teammates, training with a group, because I think some people don't know that. You don't train by yourself. Even when you're a sprinter, you train in a group, and they become your friends. And I
think you should start it. Go for it.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just saying, go on. What's stopping you?
Mostly money.
Mostly money.
But yeah.
And time.
Yeah. Exactly.
I suppose we're both doing, I just said you're doing your podcast for marketing, but, and this is, I suppose, a bit of marketing for me, but also it's more of a labour of love. So it's like, it's time, isn't it? So, and we don't have much time, but we're doing it. So get out there. But
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody needs to sponsor us for adverts, and also sponsor Christina for new.
We're just putting that out there. Yeah.
Athletic podcast, please. Oh, brilliant. So we end on thank you again so much for all of this. It's been brilliant. End on a personal note. So I'd like to ask you, what would you tell your teenage self?
I would tell my teenage self that I've probably got a couple of things. How many can I say?
As many as you want.
Exams are only relevant for the first 3 years of your life after.
When people ask you what you got, no one cares.
Exactly. No.
But they're important at the time.
Yeah, exactly. I would also tell myself to do more or experiment more creatively outside of sixth form, college, university. The reason being, I think I put a lot of emphasis on passing my exams and not enough emphasis on doing creative work outside of that, which would actually have given me much more real world experience. So that is the main thing that I would have told my younger self. And if there is anybody listening as a young person or a teenager, then that's the advice I would also like to give you. Not to fail, don't fail. Just saying, don't worry about it so much.
We'll have all these parents telling us, you told my teenager not to study.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, no, that's not us. That wasn't us.
And then the other thing I would tell myself is, you don't know how unbelievably important your soft skills are going to be. And by soft skills, and I actually kind of hate the phrase soft skills, what I mean about is influencing and convincing people in the workplace. I was never taught that. It was a shock to me when I got into the workplace. And I'm sure it's a shock to anyone who went to a conventional comprehensive school, if that's what we're still calling them. You kind of taught the ABCs, nuts and bolts, and then you go out there and go work. And really, that's not, that won't really impact you in the same way that your soft skills will do. In terms of,
just even, I get that, totally 100% get that. I mean, even just talking to people, when you get to the workspace and like say, how was your weekend? That's not just go straight to your desk. All of those like things, those little bits in between that you have to do. Just, I understand that, totally get that. Maybe that's going to be a bit of a flashback.
Yes, maybe a bit of a cold sweat even.
So I'm sure I walked in there, I just sat down at my desk like, don't talk to me. But it's really important to do that. Yeah, no, I like that. Brilliant. Good advice. Thank you very much. So quick fire and 5 question. It's very quick, just one or the other. And then quick fire and 5 questions.
Let's go.
Let's go. Crisp or chocolates?
Chocolate.
Beach or forest?
Oh, beach.
Book or Kindle?
God, I hate myself for saying this, but Kindle.
Reggae or soul?
Oh, no, you can't. That's mean. My parents are from the Caribbean, so...
Got to pick one.
Reggae. I'm going to go for my culture.
I think I might know the answer to this one. Patty or a sandwich?
Oh, patty.
Yeah. And I don't normally ask my guests this, but considering you do podcasts and you have a podcast, what is your favourite podcast? So give us a podcast recommendation that you rate at the moment.
Oh, just one. There's a
one.
couple of really, really old ones that I like. One of my favourite storytelling is called Lore. And what he does is look at folklore from different cultures around the world, and he kind of narrates the stories behind them and how they developed. And so it's culturally fascinating, but without being boring at the same time, because you get to listen to a story.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And so that's your favourite one?
My favourite storytelling. I've got more.
Sorry, I think we could have like another episode of you just drilling off lots of podcasts that you love.
A favourite podcast in every category. There we go.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much, Christina, for being with me, and it's been amazing talking to you, and very inspirational too, because seeing you doing your podcast and keeps us going, and so do you want to tell people how they can connect with you?
Oh, sure. You can connect with me many places. Mindful Marketing on TikTok and also on Instagram. And then Don't Skip Media has its own Instagram channel as well. So I think those are the optimum places to connect with me, because I am on there far too much.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being with us, and keep being creatives like us.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Angela. I had a wonderful conversation. It was so much fun.
Same here. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Creatives Like Us. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. That's how we build our communities and amplify our voices. You can find all the show notes and the links at lionscreative.co.uk podcast, and connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'd love to see you there. Also, make my day if you can leave a review or comment in your listening platform choice. And it's really easy on Spotify. Leave it in the comments. Until next time, keep creating and keep supporting creatives like us. See you next time. Bye.